Karen's audacity reached a shocking peak when she and the HOA destroyed my bridge, a critical structure connecting my property to the main road. She assumed that intimidation, entitlement, and destructive aggression would force compliance and submission. What she did not anticipate was that I had anticipated every possible move, prepared contingency plans, and was ready to turn her audacious attack into a calculated countermeasure that would devastate her assets. It began on a quiet morning when I discovered the bridge had been sabotaged and partially demolished. Karen, acting through the HOA, had attempted to cut off access to my property, believing this would intimidate me and assert control. Her audacity was fueled by prior successes where intimidation had coerced others into submission, but she had gravely underestimated the consequences of her reckless actions. I calmly assessed the damage and the situation. The bridge, while compromised, could be bypassed temporarily through alternative paths I had previously identified and prepared. I documented every detail: photographs, video surveillance, and structural assessments, creating irrefutable evidence of the HOA's illegal interference. Karen's audacious attack had become a blueprint for her own accountability. Next, I moved to execute a strategic countermeasure. Knowing the bridge was central to my access and her interference could escalate, I calculated a methodical response. I would drain her $4 million lakefront mansions, a property that the HOA and Karen had come to rely on for recreation and prestige. My preparation, access to resources, and understanding of hydraulic systems allowed me to turn her audacity into direct consequence. Karen, confident in her destructive action, expected immediate fear and submission. Instead, she witnessed her influence and control evaporate as the lake, carefully drained using strategic methods, caused disruption to her most valued properties. Her audacious plan to intimidate me had resulted in massive inconvenience, financial threat, and public humiliation for her and the HOA. While draining the lake, I documented every action, ensuring legal compliance on my side and exposing Karen's previous misconduct. Surveillance and public observation highlighted the contrast between reckless audacity and calculated response. Karen's boldness, intended to assert power, had now produced the exact opposite outcome: vulnerability and accountability. Neighbors and local authorities were drawn to the spectacle. Karen, unable to manipulate perception, watched her audacity backfire in real time. Her operatives, initially confident, were now panicked, realizing that their reckless attack had triggered a chain of events beyond their control. The audacity that once intimidated was now her greatest liability. I then implemented the final phase, consolidating the legal and tactical consequences of Karen's action. Her attempt to sabotage my bridge was now documented, linked to prior harassment and interference, and directly tied to significant consequences for her property holdings. Cedar Pines residents observed the unfolding events, witnessing firsthand how audacity without foresight, preparation, and accountability collapses spectacularly. By late evening, the bridge remained under my control, alternative access secured, and Karen's lakefront properties compromised until resolution. Her audacity had directly caused her own embarrassment, financial risk, and legal exposure. The HOA's influence over the neighborhood was further diminished as the community recognized the repeated failures of reckless aggression. Reflecting on the incident, the lesson was clear: audacity, when untempered by strategy, preparation, and foresight, is entirely self-defeating. Karen's repeated miscalculations, from harassment to property sabotage, consistently resulted in exposure, legal consequence, and public humiliation. Cedar Pines learned that entitlement, intimidation, and audacity are powerless against preparation, authority, and strategic foresight. That night, the story spread throughout the community. Karen's attempt to destroy my bridge had spectacularly backfired, leaving her exposed, accountable, and humiliated. The audacity that had once inspired fear now became a vivid example of recklessness meeting inevitable consequence. Cedar Pines residents were reminded that preparation, strategy, and authority always prevail against reckless boldness.